Winthrop. Valentine.
Hey, how'd you make out today?
How could you do this to us after everything we've done for you?
Oh, see, I made Lewis a bet here. Lewis bet me that we couldn't both get rich and put you all in the poorhouse at the same time. He didn't think we could do it. I won.
I lost. $1.
Thank you, Lewis.
After you.
Certainly.
Margin call, gentlemen. Oh, you can't expect us to...
You know the rules of the exchange, Mr. Duke. All accounts to be settled at the end of the day's trading, without exception.
You know perfectly well we don't have $394 million in cash.
I'm sorry, boys. Put the Duke brothers' seats on the exchange up for sale at once. Seize all assets of Duke and Duke Commodities Brokers, as well as all personal holdings of Randolph and Mortimer Duke.
My God. We're ruined.
This is an outrage. I demand an investigation. You can't sell our seats. A Duke has been sitting on this exchange since it was founded. We founded this exchange. It's ours. It belongs to us.
My God.
Mortimer, your brother's not well. We better call an ambulance.
Fuck him. Now you listen to me. I want trading reopened right now. Get those brokers back in here. Turn those machines back on. Turn those machines back on.
This is a Silk exclusive.
Welcome to another episode of Words Music Dance. I'm your host as always, Paulie the Bull, no relation to Gravano. This is episode 104. Today I'm joined by Lewis and Ben. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to everybody listening. Shout out to everybody watching. You already know what it is. Comment, like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. You know how it is. Shout out to everybody, YouTube, SoundCloud, Apple, Google, wherever you at. You know, if you're in the microwaves, in the WandaVision world. Yeah, you know what I mean? However you listening and watching, I appreciate you. You already know what it is. And man, 2021, no pun intended, is getting off to a crazy start. You know, it seems to be every Wednesday something wild happens. Those that have watched the show and been here since I believe November 1st, 2017 was the first episode. You know, salute to that. One of the recurrent themes that I've said, and even in conversation with people, was, you know, the internet is the new streets. You know what I mean? The internet is the streets now. It's crazy. Nobody goes outside anyway. Nobody thugging outside in the real streets. Everybody's online doing stuff. And to add on that, what it seems like is, you know, nerds are taking over the world. All right. If you don't believe me, just look. Like I said, the internet is the streets. Twitter will cancel you and make you a villain for stuff you did years ago. You know what I mean? Faceless, invisible people. The number one blockbusters in the world when movies were open was comic book movies. Video games are the highest grossing entertainment right now. So if you don't believe nerds is running the world right now, then you're just not paying attention. But it's our time, fellas. You know what I mean? But currently, the new nerd takeover has been Wall Street. All right, y'all all seen it. We're gonna talk about it a little bit, but the stock markets was taken over by some folks in a Reddit group. What's the name of the group again, Ben?
Wall Street Bets.
Wall Street Bets. They got a little logo, little mascot dude, look cool. Like they official. That's how you know some official nerd work. You know what I mean? They're not just playing. They're not playing games. They woke up one day and said, "Yo, we're gonna take over the stock market. We're gonna mess with it a little bit. We know enough to affect it," and they did it. And some people didn't like it. You know,
yeah, a lot of people didn't.
A lot of people didn't like it. Some people in Wall Street was like, "Hey, you can't do that." And another phrase that I didn't create, but we all know is, you know, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and the rich don't like when the poor get rich.
Exactly.
they don't like that. They like it that way. When the rich get richer, the poor, they like that. They don't like to blur the lines. Hey, stop that.
It was on full display.
It was in full display last week. So full disclaimer as well. We're gonna talk a little bit of stocks today. We are not giving any financial advice in this episode at all. For everybody listening, for everybody watching, I'm waving my hands. We are not giving you any financial advice on this episode. Everything we say is what we've read, seen, heard, may have done ourselves. We are not telling you to follow our lead.
Correct.
You know what I mean? we just gonna share some information on what's happening. It is on to you if you choose to jump in as well. I know a lot of people that have and are online telling people as if they know what it is. I have told some people about it as well, but I am not telling them how much to put in, what to do with it. I am not a broker. I am not the Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not the Bull of Wall Street. I'm not Paul of Wall Street. I'm just Paul of a 2021 vision. You know what I mean? That's all I know. I can guarantee, I can wholeheartedly tell you about this here. This YouTube channel is mine. But whatever you do with your money is on you. I don't share them. I see like a lot of people screenshotting their portfolios. I would not do that. You don't need to know what's in my pockets. I don't care what's in yours. But don't take anything we say today and say, well, they said, nope. No, I didn't. All right. Same way we put the disclaimer on the homie picks. You know what I mean? Any bets and things you may, make in the states that allow it. You know what I mean? Where gambling is legal. It's on you. You know, these gentlemen just give their guesses, their picks. You know what I mean? That's all it is at the end of the day. But I myself, to start off, started to mess around with the Robinhood app about 2 years ago. It's a very user-friendly app.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No commissions, no trade fees, things like that. Use your Googles, look it up, see what that means. But that was one of the benefits of it. It's like, listen, you can mess around with it. I think they gave me a free stock to start off with, and for the longest, I messed around with that stock. I was like, all right, what happens if I put money in? Okay, I can take my money back. Oh, okay, to get my money, no fee. Okay, cool. Because you never know. Sometimes you put money in, and they're like, well, it'll cost you just to get it back. So I messed around with it before I even recommended it to anybody else. I was like, let me see what it do. After I felt a little comfortable with it, I started telling some more people about it. Started using it myself, and again, I myself had my eye on AMC stock since last year because, as we know, we were in a quarantine, a pandemic. Everybody's been shut down, including our local movie theaters. And as a fan of AMC, I was like, their stock is pretty low right now because movies are closed. If I wait for it to go down to a certain number and ride it out while it's down there, when the theaters open up 2021, I said this back in 2020, I might make a little money off of that. Exactly. And that's what I did. So I was bound to about $2. I put a couple dollars in there and said, let me buy some AMC. I watched it because it was like $2.50, $3. It was going up and down. I said, all right, if it hit $2, I'm gonna jump on it. One day it hit $2. I said, oh, here we go. Let me get in there. And that was about October, November-ish, I want to say. Funny thing happened a week ago. I woke up one morning and I'm like, oh, it's up to like $8. Oh, something like $9. It hit 12. Is the movie theaters open? Like, I'm like, okay, the vaccine is out, but what's going on here? So, long story short, I then found out why it was spiking so high, because I got nervous. I'm like, should I sell now? Is this a moment? Because again, as I say, I don't know stocks, but I know, hey, if something spike up real high, there's only one place for it to go eventually. So I'm like, all right, if I sell now, I can take my profits and then, whatever. But then I stuck with it for a little bit. And then I found out what was going on and what was happening. And my good friend here, Ben, longtime friend that I've known for years. So I do trust when he's in the know of some things. And he started sending some screenshots of some Reddit feeds and saying some things. So Ben, what got you into that Reddit group? First off, I want to start with how'd you get into the group? How'd you find out about that?
Well, since I have a Reddit, I always looked around stuff. They post some good stuff. You can find almost anything on Reddit that could interest you. And much like yourself, I was invested in Robinhood app, and I was always looking for little nuggets here and there. So they had this forum, and sometimes they will give out little nuggets here and there, because there are traders in there that they know what they're talking about. They do know how the market works. And of course, now it's just I got overflooded with a lot of people.
Right.
Now it's not the best time to look in there, but in previous times you can make some sense out of some stuff there, and you can make a good prediction, because at the end of the day, people just got to remember the stock market is just 100% speculation. It has no real data to it in the
Right.
sense of people are just making bets on its failure or success, basically. You know, it's kind of simplistic view of it, but that's basically the bottom line. So, so these people were just giving, you know, their best guess at companies that will, you know, make some money for you. And long story short, they've been in that Reddit group, they've been investigating companies that are what they call shorted. Basically means that other like hedge funds, they basically it's kind of like borrowing stocks. So it's basically like they borrow a stock from somebody, let's say at $10, they sell it right away at $10, and then they hope that the price goes down. So then that speculation of that, oh, this company is not going to do good, blah, 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 because look how much they've been shorted, the stock price starts to go down. That's just how it works.
It's pretty confusing, right? Does it make you feel bored or stupid? Well, it's supposed to. Wall Street loves to use confusing terms to make you think only they can do what they do. Or even better, for you just to leave them the fuck alone. So here's Margot Robbie in a bubble bath to explain.
Basically, Louis Rainieri's mortgage bonds were amazingly profitable for the big banks. They made billions and billions on their 2% fee they got for selling each of these bonds. But then they started running out of mortgages to put in them. After all, there are only so many homes and so many people with good enough jobs to buy them, right? So the banks started filling these bonds with riskier and riskier mortgages. Thank you, Banjo. That way, they can keep that profit machine churning, right? By the way, these risky mortgages are called subprime. So whenever you hear subprime, think shit. Our friend Michael Burry found out that these mortgage bonds that were supposedly 65% AAA were actually just mostly full of shit. So now he's going to short the bonds, which means to bet against. Got it? Okay. Now fuck off.
So basically now, so these people have these stocks now. So they're waiting for the price to go down. So what the Reddit guys did is they investigated all these companies and they saw which companies had the biggest short. And they felt, for example, the big thing that they did was GameStop stock, right? They saw that it was like, I believe it was 130%, you know, short. So they were betting hard that this company was going to fold. And these guys saw that. So what they decided to do was make demand for GameStop stocks. As demand grows, because they're buying it, the price goes up. As the price goes up, that $10 that they originally paid for or borrowed to, you know, for that one stock that they got, whatever, now it's at 11. So instead of making money, they got to pay money. So it's no longer worth 10, now it's worth 11, and so on and so forth. So this stock reached, I believe it was like 430. It was 430, and they probably bought it. I don't know the actual numbers, but let's say they bought it at $5. Now you do the math.
Right.
That's the big difference to pay. So that's basically what happened. That's why these hedge funds are lost so much billions of dollars. And that's why the Wall Street people went crazy, because it basically threw their world upside down, because they're like, hey, whoa, these guys figured out what we do.
Right. And that's the main thing. Nothing that was done was illegal.
No.
Right. It was just done by some people that they don't really usually want to do it. You know, it's like, hey, you can't play our game. This is our game. Exactly. We're an exclusive club. We didn't allow you in here. What are you doing?
Right. So these guys found a way to use the rules that they have and make some kind of payout. But you also got to remember, like, even the Reddit stuff, as much as they might be making, it's nowhere compared to the Wall Street people that have, you know, they own hundreds of thousands of these stocks. I mean, it's not compared to a couple of people that own maybe 1,000 or two of it. It's nothing compared to that.
Right.
So even with this whole topsy-turvy thing going on, they're still making money. They're still all right.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's really just, you know, the shock value. And what happened was, like I said, last week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday-ish, it was a shock of the market specifically being hit. It was what? GameStop, AMC,
Nokia,
BlackBerry,
Naked. There was a couple other ones.
It was the specific
Express.
stocks that, again, they were also knowing they shorted.
Right.
And it was
exactly.
like, whoa, they're jumping up. Why is this happening? And one of the things that happened, the reaction was that Robinhood, who, like I said, was one of the most user-friendly stock trading apps that a lot of people had jumped on, started to prevent people from purchasing more of those shares.
Mm-hmm.
So then the attention turned to F Robinhood. It went from F Wall Street to now Robinhood's the enemy. And they released like a disclaimer or whatever. And I kind of got their perspective. It was the timing of it, one, and it was just how it was done. So that their perspective was, because the market was so volatile and people were putting so much money in, they didn't want too many people to buy a lot because they were unaware of what was going on. That's what they said. That's kind of how the disclaimer was.
Right.
We don't know what's happening with the market right now. So for your protection, we're going to stop you from buying.
Right.
That's what they said. The thing with that is it's true, but when you're doing it to the specific stocks, it looks bad.
But it's not. It's okay. Because you have to remember, they're not stopping people with millions of dollars from buying it. They're just doing it to the retail buyers, the small buyers in Robinhood apps and so forth.
Right. And then it was also the Webull app.
Right. All those, right.
Some other user-friendly, more user-friendly.
Exactly. It's the ones that are become very popular for, regular day trader users, like nobody that has these huge amounts of funds, but they have a little bit and they like to, dab into it. That's basically all these platforms got affected.
And again, I understand Robinhood saying it, because obviously if TD Ameritrade's not stopping, Robinhood don't know and don't care. They're looking at their business platform, their app, specifically, because one, they don't charge the fees and stuff. So all of these bets they have to, purchase as well on their end. There's a lot of money in the back end that goes on that we don't care. We like, listen, y'all free to do this. I want to play for free. And they like, but it costs us a little couple dollars to do certain things and pay y'all back when it's, so they were looking out for themselves. Which again, like I said, I understand, but it was just bad timing.
Well, let me from what I've heard on reports, the thing with the Robinhood is that yes, it's free and whatever, but they make their money by selling our information.
Right.
And
all social media.
Exactly. Anytime you get a free app, guaranteed your information is being sold.
It's the matrix. The battery was the humans. Boop.
Exactly. So guaranteed it's getting sold. You're the product in that case. Anyway,
exactly.
So as we speak, Robinhood sent that email out saying why they took action.
Right.
One already. So this is an update.
so let me tell you the reportings I've heard. Okay. So basically, Robinhood works with this another hedge fund company called Citadel. Citadel basically works with Robinhood. So Robinhood sends the orders from us to Citadel, and they make the purchase for them, and they send it back. And what the advantage for them is that they see all this traffic coming in, they know what people are doing, and they can make their bets first before they make your orders. That's how they make their money. Anyways, the problem is that this particular hedge fund also had a lot of shorts on these particular businesses. And that's why it looks really, really bad that Robinhood stopped them from, and there's still caps on it now. You can only have a limited amount, and you can't purchase more than a certain number, and you can't hold more than a certain number. So it's extremely, extremely limited for the risk aversion for people, but they're not doing that for everybody else. It's just regular people.
Yeah, but again, like I said, regular people is their fan base. That it was their customer base. You know what I'm saying? Most of the real traders that are really putting big money in are not doing it through Robinhood.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. It's just them. It's them. They're not picking specific users on their platform. It's just their platform that's doing it.
Right. They're doing it the whole platform, but it comes down to, again, it's just to limit the little people buying and making the fluctuations that are happening. That's why, if you notice, the last couple of days it hasn't been that crazy.
Right. Everything's kind of leveled out now. Some things are going down. And again, I'm not telling anyone to buy more, but if you want to, there are other apps that are still allowing you to do so.
Right.
Do so at your own risk. Will have you got? Make sure it's residual money.
Right.
Don't make sure rent is paid first.
Exactly. That's the biggest thing. Like people just gotta remember, this is like you gambling that money. Let's say you're playing the lotto. You might not never get it back. So don't put more than what you can afford.
Right.
Plain and simple.
Exactly. Lewis, I don't want to leave you out the conversation. You're here too. Yeah, I actually, referred you to the Robinhood app and stuff. So did you yourself, like I said, you ain't gotta get too much in your business, but did you have any of those? Did you partake in the
I dabbled
last week?
I dabbled.
Okay.
Working in the finance field, so I'll say I dabbled.
Right.
But yeah, it's crazy. Just watching the power the people have.
Yes.
And how much big corporations. This is a prime example. People say the big corporations try to limit us. This is a prime example. The little people went in there and knocked on the door and said, "Can we come in?" And they were like, "Nah, you can't come in.
Nah, that's our money."
It's our money. Like this is the game we play. It's like they play Monopoly and you're not allowed to watch to partake. Like no, you don't get to go past go. So it was great to see that the people moved. Something that they were trying to bank on. They were banking on GameStop folding. Like that's where they were gonna make their money.
Right.
Like for the people say, nah, hold up, we're not ready for that. Let's feed it, let's fuel it, let's get our money up. It was great to see. So I think it's just a running trend on how the last couple of years have been in this country. It's something new every day. I told a friend, it was like a 5-year-old who's writing the story that goes, and then all the people bought GameStop stock, like a 5-year-old's writing this out. But yeah, it was a crazy week for the stock market.
Yeah, I mean, we got so many slogans that is to the moon, diamond hands.
and a lot of stuff came out of this. It was just like, and again, I'm all for us playing the game. This is usually waters that we don't tread. Us as inner city youth and kids, and what I'm saying, gentlemen, getting into that game and getting some money, get some long-term stocks, get some short-term, do what best works for you. What I'm saying, have a savings account, start a business, sell some. What I'm saying, I'm glad that we're all partaking in these endeavors for the long term. Us specifically getting up there in age. What I mean? We need to have some retirement money. So,
I think this was a good thing because this brought attention to the stock market that it is possible for little people to get into it. Because like even myself, before I got into the stock market, I always thought it was such a difficult thing. I might not understand it. I might need some extra people hired to help me out. But in actuality, it's very plain and simple. Yes, there's some research involved. So, to mitigate your risk, you have to do research. Let me stress that, do research. But other than that, it's just, you're making a bet.
And that's why myself, I was watching GameStop already. I was watching AMC already because I usually watch the industries that I know. I try to stick with what I know. So when the market and things happen to those specific companies, I either shop there, I go there, I've been there, I have, what I'm saying? So AMC, like I said, AMC was one, I'm a Stubbs member. We've been to the movies together a bunch of times. And, we always loving the movies and things. And it was like, okay, their stock, I was watching them because I'm like, I know the company, so don't just jump on stuff because somebody says such and such. Make sure you know what you're invested in. Make sure you know the company. Make sure you know the industry that it is.
The more you know, the better.
Right. And listen, the big boys, Apple, Microsoft and stuff, if you know those companies, if you buy those products, that's a good place to start with. You're aware most people that buy Apple products, they know the Apple release windows, and that's usually when they spike up and things. So if you use certain products, look into the company itself, look at their history. Another big thing that stocks offer is dividends. Look it up once again. It's some money you get for having shares.
Yep.
It's every quarter or so you got some money just coming, like, oh snap, all right, thanks. What I mean? Again, I was unaware of this years back.
Yeah, exactly. Me too, man.
They don't teach us these type of things that
that's a shame.
Yeah.
That's
what I mean?
You should be teaching this.
It should be something taught in school.
Stop teaching me biology and chemistry. I'm not becoming a scientist. Teach me this stuff.
I have still not have to use the Pythagorean theorem outside in the world.
You know,
I have not went somewhere and they ran up on me with a gun and said, "Hey, solve for X." You know, it has yet
For
to happen. Nobody walked up to me and said, if Lewis has 5 apples and Benjamin has 7 apples, nobody's ever done that to me.
Yeah. Or what time the trains are arriving? If he leaves at 5 and he leaves at 6.
Right.
Okay.
I've never had those conversations.
2019, 2020, before it went crazy, I volunteered in the school out here in PA a couple times and was teaching kids how to write a resume, what to expect when you go on an interview. Those things that we weren't taught as young men. We weren't really, it was really, like you said, math and stuff that we didn't need for the real world. And it's sad, like we need to teach kids how to balance a checkbook.
Yes, financial stuff, yes.
You know, like how to interview properly for your first interview. Those things those are life lessons that go with them forever. And that's something that we don't get taught. And then you get into today's world where everything's hands-on, everything's accessible.
Right.
And yet we're still not teaching our kids these stuff, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, very much so. It's very important. And those tools are more important than, you know what I'm saying, solving for X and, you know.
Right. And then never use, you know, find the square root of a triangle.
Right.
And again, if you're in, you know, construction and stuff, you're building houses, architecture, you may use that.
Yeah.
However, that's one thing they taught everybody across the board. And it's like, teach it to them. They going there. I'm not doing that.
There should be more specifics now. Like they should just really teach basic financial stuff to everyone. You know, learn to save, learn to balance your checkbook, you know, all that stuff.
Right.
It's very important. And we don't teach it at all.
And as I started this conversation, I said, you know, it's a nerd takeover. Not only have, you know, the nerds taken over Wall Street, but before that, they took over just, you know, money in general. Bitcoin, it's digital currency that is spent on certain sites and certain places that allow it, but there's also a currency that you can invest into as well.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest things. Now, the only thing right now is there's a bunch of different coins.
Right. There's a bunch of different
and that's where people
currencies.
get confused at. There's a bunch of different currencies. Cryptocurrency is a currency itself. How we have $1 bills, $2 bills. We have, you know, nickels, dimes, pennies. They have Bitcoin. Is what Dogecoin. There's there's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
So again, a lot of people are talking that is even more volatile than what's going on right now, because it's really it's an manned, you know, system.
Yeah, there's no financial backing for it yet. Like there's no banks to it.
Right.
It's
and
only
right now, it's completely digital. So you can only spend it. There are very limited, like, you know, not public, but, you know, mainstream sites that accept it. It's mostly a lot of underground things. Some artists that are in the know, music artists, allow you to buy their CDs with it. You know, certain things like that. Specific people that are in the know was like, hey, you can buy it with Bitcoin. But now
there's an NFL player too who wanted half his salary this year paid to him in Bitcoin.
Crazy. The thing about Bitcoin is there's an actual specific number.
Right.
So unlike our dollars that get printed every, you know, whenever they feel like it, it stops at, I think, 22 million or something like that. Again, look it up.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. But there's a specific number amount that's in the internet, you know, it's floating around like Ultron. So there's no more, no less. So the ones that people have, that's what exists, you know, it's spread around.
So did you guys hear the story of James Howell?
So
was that the guy that couldn't get the password in?
That's the guy that threw it away in a computer and now in some landfill.
Well, I heard that one. And I heard the other guy that just forgot the password, and he's down.
Yeah, because apparently he wrote it down. It was a generated password. He didn't. However, these guys were part of the infancy of it, and they were granted as a gift a certain amount of coins.
Right. Not just that. Back then, a lot of people were mining it. They were called.
Yeah.
So it's like this process that was
right. I'm saying they were part of the creation of it. So as a gift, they were given a certain amount. And again, they didn't really release them out, but they said the value of it. One dude got about $220 million worth of it, and the way the system sets it up, because they're like, you don't get to make a password, and Bitcoin doesn't stay on your computer. You have a wallet, but the actual data is just always constantly moving.
Right.
So to access it, you have a key, like an encryption code. For those that know computer stuff, if not, look it up. And with the gentleman, I forget his name. I don't know the same guy or not, but you only get 10 tries.
Right.
Yeah, it's a different guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he just stopped at 9. He didn't do it anymore. He did it he wrote it down somewhere. And again, this is back in the beginning. They didn't know it was going to be what it is today. So he paper somewhere or left it in a shoebox somewhere or something. And at the point now where they were able to retrieve it, which is again like 10 years later, something like that. The way it was told to me was you only got 10 times to put the wrong password in, and once you do it on the 10th time, it just gets put back into the mining field where people can either retrieve it or whatever.
Yeah.
And,
well, this guy in South Wales, London, England, over there, he threw it away in an old computer. He had $7,500 Bitcoins in there. Estimated worth $300 million right now.
Okay, yeah. See, the one I read about was 220 million.
Yeah, this guy
That's the guy with the password.
So it's now stuck in a landfill. He offered the city $70 million.
Yeah, and I believe he says he knows where it could be, but the city's like, no, we can't let you go in there because health hazard.
Landfill. Yeah.
Crazy. So, as we said before, listen, be careful. Be knowledgeable. And these guys were definitely computer knowledgeable and stuff, but this was something that, a decade ago they didn't expect. That's why they didn't really treat it so, you know what I mean? But Bitcoin now was huge. I believe last time I checked, one coin was like worth 34,000 or something like that. And Dogecoin, DOGE coin, is like the new one that the internet is kind of like trying to push to get up. It's like fractions of pennies right now, but people are investing into it to get it up to a penny and beyond. It's fun to see results, but also keep in mind that your money. At the end of the day, Bitcoin is a digital thing, but you're using your actual USD dollars to empower it. And remember, you're investing in that coin that someone else has. So you're making someone else rich as well. But keep in mind, you can sell and trade as a commodity, as a stock, as well. We're not telling you to do it.
No, I don't know too much about it. I because it's just so volatile. For me, I stay away from it. But
correct,
to each his own.
To each his own. It's your money. We here are not, we here at 2021 Vision and its partners are not telling you to go and do it. We are telling you to do your own research first, figure out what you want to get involved in. If you see something that, an investment that works for you, by all means, it's on you.
There's money to be had. We just got to look for it.
Exactly. It's out there.
The kid that locked his away, his name is Stephen Thomas.
Okay.
And both these idiots work in the IT field.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
They know better, right?
From the infancy, they were around. They were a part of the mining and the initial creation of it all. And I forget what it was, because there's some rules involved in it. But they had they let it get to a certain point, and once it got to the certain time frame, they were gifted it, to them, and they just got to log in to put it to their wallet or whatever, and they didn't. Because again, if they knew what it would have been 10 years later, they would have probably treated it a little more.
Well,
it would tattooed the password on them or something. And,
I mean, the guy that lost his a sticky pad somewhere.
Right.
He probably threw it out.
Yeah, exactly. Like he was like, whatever, I'm gonna write this down.
I don't know what this is. Garbage.
But that's all I got. Like I said, this was not a financial podcast. We're not giving you financial advice. We're not telling you we are fully financially literate. We just a couple broke brothers trying to make some money out here in America.
Yes. We're trying to make it just like y'all.
Right. They got kids, and I love their kids, so they my kids too. We just trying to support the kids. So we got bills and things. So we ain't telling you to spend your money that way. It's on you, however you want to invest it. Whether you do 10%, 25%, cool, whatever you choose.
The only thing I will say about that is that you're better off putting your money in the stock market than buying a lotto ticket. Just saying.
Yeah, dividends and stock jumps and things, just a little more probable than the Mega Millions and things. Yeah.
Your chances of making a little bit of scratch are better in the stock.
Yeah, but like I said, that's all I got for this week. This conversation definitely continues because it ain't over yet. they're chanting "Hold the line,"
Yes.
and people still holding, and so we will see what happens next week. If it goes up, if it goes down, everybody don't
Yeah.
jump out the windows. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll tell you about that one since I'm in the forum. Yeah, right now it's just hold the line for those because they still see that the short still has a way to go. So they haven't, like, the hedge fund wager is still not up yet. So that stock can still rise theoretically. So
Right. So they said hold the line. Do so if you choose to.
yes,
We're not saying hold
make
the
your
line.
own best decision there.
But the conversation continues. Like, once again, shout out to everybody listening, shout out to everybody watching. Comment, like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. Y'all know what it is. Comment below. Did y'all make any investments? Don't give us specifics. I don't want to know what's in your pockets. Just let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you got a couple dollars. All right, cool. You know, and we'll talk to you next time. Later.
Peace.